my questions.
We do,
here.
yes, ma'am.
And I would appreciate them being answered. Thank you.
So, can we have one of your leadership team help address some of the issues that she has brought forth today to us?
Yes, ma'am, and I'll have Ms. Brown speak and have a conversation. And I had a good conversation with Mom the other day, and
Okay.
agree with a couple of things that we had a conversation with, and
Okay.
and we'll take care of it, Ms. Brown.
Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much, Ms. Saracino. And Ms. Brown there will assist you with some of the other concerns that you brought forward today. Thank you. Our last speaker today is Mr. Ray Bonte. Welcome, Mr. Bonte. You have 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Honorable School Board members, I am Ray Bonte, Executive Director for the Hillsborough Association of School Administrators. So as you know, we are an advocacy organization made up of our wonderful principals, assistant principals, and district leaders, including just about everybody in this room. Ladies and gentlemen, October every year is National Principal Month. And every year we celebrate with our principals their hard work, their dedication to our schools, to our students, and to our communities. And this year, October and National Principal Month is even more poignant because of our leaders leading schools, leading students, and leading our communities through a pandemic, through a budget crisis, through e-learning, through many different things that if you asked any of our leaders if they took those courses on pandemics and how to run a school in college, they probably didn't get that course. So we want to recognize our leaders during the month of October. So I know our school board members and our leadership team that is here today is out and about, because I see you on Twitter all the time, visiting our schools. Please give those principals a pat on the back. Traditionally, HASA would be providing lunches, celebration activities, fellowship activities, but during a pandemic, unfortunately, we can't do that. So, in addition to that, as we know, we have an election coming up. And November 3rd can't get here quick enough, I'm sure, for many of us. We, 2 years ago, provided a candidate forum out at Zoo Tampa. We had hundreds of administrators there, and we had our school board candidates attend that event. Matter of fact, there are a couple sitting right in front of me today that got up and was able to introduce themselves and talk about their vision to all of our leaders. It was a great night at Zoo Tampa. Originally, we had an event all planned for next Tuesday night at Florida Aquarium. Well, there's this little thing going on called COVID, and the Florida Aquarium canceled that event. So we are hosting a Zoom candidate forum next Tuesday night starting at 6 o'clock, and I've been in contact with all 8 candidates, and it should be a great evening. We are sharing that information with our principals, assistant principals, and it's going to be a great night. Please Zoom in and listen to some of your colleagues on the dais and their candidates that are running for school board. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Bonte. We appreciate all that HASA does for our school district. And happy Principals Month. They are the glue that binds the district together. That concludes our public comment for this evening, board members. So we are going to move into recognitions and proclamations. Our first adoption of a proclamation for Hillsborough County Public Schools to observe and celebrate Global Diversity Awareness Month, it's October 16th through the 30th, is going to be presented by Member Schamberger.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm proud to highlight the proclamation for Global Diversity Awareness Month in honor of our 215,000 diverse students and 25,000 diverse staff. The School Board of Hillsborough County accepts and welcomes people of diverse backgrounds and believes a diverse population leads to a more vibrant community, which contributes to our schools and culture. Our district has adopted policies that promote a safe and inclusive learning and work environment free from any forms of discrimination, harassment, or bullying on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, age, origin, political beliefs, gender identity, and social background. Our district is partnered with area organizations and small businesses, women-owned and minority vendors to work collaboratively to enhance inter-ethnic relations, multicultural dialogue, and inclusive educational, social, business, and economic opportunities that benefit our students.
Thank you, Member Schamberger. Would you like to make the motion to approve this proclamation?
Yes.
Okay, so moved by Member Schamberger. And board members, I need a second. And it looks like Ms. Gray has chimed in for a second to this motion. Is there any discussion? Yes, Ms. Gray.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Thank you, Member Schamberger. Very important proclamation. I just wanted to make a few remarks. Our diverse communities are at risk right now, in many cases due to the COVID crisis. We are reminded that there is food insecurity, domestic abuse, transportation challenges, and there is a huge disconnect with the language from English to Spanish and other matters. I don't want to go ahead and put a smile on my face. I'm glad that we have the proclamation, but what I do want to say, and this will put a smile on our faces, is that what we are doing, Superintendent Davis and our wonderful diversity leader and staff, Monica Vera Tirado. Hopefully I got your name right. Did I do good? Okay. Ding. Under your, with your staff and with your blessings, Superintendent Davis, I know that the issues of language are being dealt with. The communication of language, Hispanic to English, is very much being done as we speak, and those communications of food, where it is, and so forth and so on, are being taken care of. The issue of academic, I want to say inferior, but now we're going to go to superior, because what we're doing is we're adding more Hispanic dual language classes. The curriculum will have more rigor, as will the African American Studies, adding AP. So we, to the audience that's listening, we are paying attention to our diversity. We are harnessing great efforts to meet the needs of our communities. And I can't go without saying that I know for a fact things are being done, and I want us to be encouraged. And again, thank you. This proclamation is very, very well thought out. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Any further discussion, board members? All right. Seeing none, please vote when your lights appear. And it is unanimous. Thank you, board members, for approving the proclamation for Hillsborough County Public Schools celebrating Global Diversity Awareness Month. Our next proclamation is for World Mental Health Day, and this will be presented by Member Perez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am so excited to highlight the World Mental Health Day proclamation. World Mental Health Day is observed on October 10th each year, with an overall objective of raising awareness on mental health issues. At a time when our daily lives have challenged dramatically over the last few months, it is expected that the need for mental health and psychosocial support will substantially increase in the coming months and years. That is why now, more than ever, it is essential to erase the stigma around mental health, generate more awareness, and remind our families of the services offered to provide support to our students. Our district has some mental health initiatives to support these efforts. Since March, our district has provided telehealth counseling to more than 2,400 students. The student services teams have answered 720 mental health hotline calls, and this week, schools will receive a mental health banner to hang on their campus. And the banner ta-da! The banner encourages students to reach out to a member of their student services team if they need to talk about their feelings and concerns. Thank you. And our district is sharing 2 PSAs to address combating stigma about mental health. One PSA focuses on the students talking directly to their peers about the importance of sharing their feelings with someone they trust, and the other PSA focuses on students talking to the parents about the signals parents should look out for when their child is struggling. These PSAs will be provided to middle and high school students to share with their students, staff, and families. So now I would like to show the brief PSA featuring students speaking directly to the parents about the signals that they give when they need support with their mental health.
We're sending you signals every day.
We are sending you signals every day.
We're sending you signals every day.
I'll be feeling sad, but you're too busy to notice.
My grades will drop,
And you'll yell at me for not trying.
I don't see my friends anymore.
And you think it's good that I'm always home.
We are sending you signals every day.
I need you to look.
I need you to listen.
And ask me if you can help.
Thank you. So I need a motion and a second to adopt the proclamation for World Mental Health Day, October 10.
Thank you, Member Perez. It looks like I have a motion by Member Stewart and a second by Member Perez. We'll go ahead and actually we'll reverse that. So Member Perez will make the motion and Ms. Stewart will second that motion. Is there any discussion on that proclamation? Member Gray.
I just want to say very much thank you, Member Perez, for your commitment and your engagement in a aspect of a student's life, which is critical right now. I just wanted to also give a shout out to our social workers who right here and now, I always say here and now because literally it's probably true, they're driving to homes, checking on the children, checking on the food needs, checking on their clothes, if they have the right ones to wear, and the mental health. So our social workers, I wish we could have the budget to afford a lot more, but I just wanted to say that. And I also wanted to give a special shout out to Principal Kelly McClooney of Palm River Elementary School, who is engaging, transforming trauma-based teaching, helping those children, or I should say the teachers, strategize to help those children who have those adverse childhood experiences, and making a child one child at a time have a better experience at the school, and this is so critical. So thank you so much for those transformational principles, which there are many, but this one I wanted to give a shout out. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Perez?
I want to thank the whole mental health team with Hillsborough County Schools, because they have totally transformed the face of mental health here in Hillsborough County Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, members, board members, it looks like there's no further discussion, so please vote when your lights appear. And it is unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you, Member Perez. We'll move on to our last proclamation, which is for National Fire Safety Week, October 4th through the 10th. Vice Chair Kona will be presenting this proclamation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's an honor to present this proclamation today. So fire prevention is so important because fire kills approximately 500 children every year. Working smoke alarms reduce the chance of dying in a house fire by 50%, and households with a fire plan have a much greater chance of escaping uninjured. To encourage fire safety, safety inspectors for Hillsborough County Public Schools created a PSA for elementary and middle schools to encourage them to go to their parents or guardians and ask them if they have a safe location to meet up after a fire. The PSA also encourages students to ask their parents about smoke detectors and where they are testing them monthly and changing the batteries. This PSA was delivered to all elementary and middle schools, but we will also post it on our district social media accounts. The Hillsborough County Public Schools fire inspectors perform more than 600 fire inspections per year for all of our schools and district sites. And the district is providing all of its student nutrition service employees with fire extinguisher training. So now I'd like to bring up our Director of Safety and Risk Management, Mr. Culpepper, for a brief presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair, board members, superintendent, and staff. I first have to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to come forth with this proclamation. This is the first time that I know of, or anyone else in our department explained to us, that we came forth with the proclamation, so I want to say thank you. I know I'm squeezed for time, but I have to. I wouldn't be doing a service to the people that does actually the work here. For the 10 inspectors, Inspector Luis Perez, Inspector Klein, Inspector Gray, Inspector McBride, Inspector Harvin, Inspector Gatson, Inspector Fernandez, Inspector Shepard, Inspector McCord, and really the glue behind this whole department, the Executive Secretary, Ms. Colette Goodman-Smith. She is definitely the glue. With that being said, today we want to make 4 new fire inspectors, honorary, only for this week. Only for this week. Starting out with Mr. Christopher Farkas. Dr. Kemp. Dr. McCauley. Board Member Kona. Now, because we're making them honorary, remember, just for this week, I do not want to personally lead them. So as the district fire marshal for this week, Superintendent Davis, you are the honorary district fire marshal for this week. All right? So those 4 are your guys for this week.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do. I feel like I put fires out every day. Now I legitimately get a badge.
Yes, sir. You're official now. So
do I got to give it back after the week?
No, it's yours. It's yours.
Oh, thank you.
And again, I just really want to say thank you. This is an amazing time we live in. These ladies and gentlemen in the safety department answer my call every time, regardless of what it's pertaining to, whether it's leaving the house, going to a call, whether it's following up with a call that we went to the day before. They're always answering the call. And I really, truly believe that our students, faculty, and staff are in a safe environment, and we continue every day to make sure that this is an environment that all our students, faculty, and staff can be safe in. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a few comments from board members, so you might want to stay close, Mr. Culpepper. Ms. Stewart?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, Mr. Culpepper, until you did that, I was going to congratulate you on the work that you've done in this division over the last year and a half. But then you went and put these 4 guys in some sort of capacity in your division. So maybe I should save my comments until Saturday morning. But in all honesty, I know that you have you've taken over this division at a time that there were some issues happening there, and I just want to congratulate you because I know for a fact that a lot of things have changed. There's a lot more structure and a lot more planning that happens in that division, and I just want to say congratulations to you. And we'll wait and see let's hope nothing happens between now and Saturday and they can take their shirts off.
Oh, you mean the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse who now are inspectors for the...
Well, we're already in kind of the apocalypse, so...
That's why I make sure that the superintendent was the honorary. He's in charge of that group.
But you have to supervise him then. So, but in all seriousness, congratulations, really.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart. Mr. Kona.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Member Stewart said. You're doing a great job, and we appreciate it. I know that global pandemic wasn't on your list of things to do either, and but now you've tackled that, and your team they've done a phenomenal job. So I want to just say I appreciate all the work that you're doing and your team's doing, so kudos on a job well done.
Thank you, Mr. Kona. Member Gray?
Yes, Mr. Culpepper, probably more than anything that I noticed when we had lunch, it was about a year ago, is the camaraderie, the security that you're giving your fellow workers, and just the very wonderful way that you're showing dignity to what you're doing every day, because those role models, except for these people, just kidding. Your role models really, it shows our children how they should be, and I think that's very significant. Thank you for everything that you do. I know you're busy as a bee all the time. We thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Schamberger?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Mr. Culpepper, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for what you've done to make all of us safer, our students and all of our staff members, all of your inspectors as well. You know, I know that when I've called, when I've seen issues on my school visits, they are taken care of immediately. And because of that, we know that our students and our staff members are safe. And so thank you for all of the work that you've done and you continue to do to all your staff and certainly the glue that holds you guys together. Thank you so much.
And I'll just chime in and say that I'm a little jealous that I didn't get picked.
Me too.
And I know you're going to get at least one vote for this proclamation. There's like 6 other people that are voting. I just want to point that out.
How did that happen?
Maybe we can be on a rotation or, we'll work it out later.
Your shirt's on back order.
It should be Women's Day here soon.
Okay. All right, board members. I still need a motion and a second to approve the proclamation. So I've got a motion by Member Kona and a second by Dr. Hahn. Is there any further discussion about this proclamation? And seeing none, then please vote when your lights appear. And it is unanimous. Congratulations to you, your team. Thank you, Mr. Kona, for presenting. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, board members. Next on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda, and I just need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. I have a motion by Member Stewart and a second by Member Perez. There is no discussion on this particular item, so please vote when your lights appear. And it is unanimous. The consent agenda is approved. We will move on to the superintendent comments. Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Through the chair. Once again, want to thank CC. He has worked tirelessly. I want to echo everything the school board members have said about his leadership. I mean, when I'm getting text messages at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning about what him and his team are doing to clean schools, I'm so grateful for their hard work and dedication. And he must be like me. He never sleeps, but he's always on top of everything, working hand in hand with our COVID commander, Mrs. Brown Shop, in the Department of Health in order to make certain that we get it right, and I'm thankful and grateful for him. So this evening, I want to talk about a couple things related to our work in Hillsborough County. We want to talk about athletics reopening plan, talk about new initiatives, update on consent agenda items where there's expenditures related so the community can understand how those dollars are being spent, and also look at our current status of our sales tax and talk about next steps for Hillsborough County, what to expect as we continue to transition forward. First and foremost, as you know, athletically, we have, we launched a plan and we had a very, really controlled environment by only allowing 4 spectators per participant. And we've done a really nice job. We are transitioning right now in the fall season. This is week 5. We have 4 weeks to go to finalize the fall season. Plus, we'll be extending to a number of teams will be extending deep into the playoffs. But overall, after consideration, looking at Phase 3, having conversations, and looking at recommendations, and having input from our local health providers and partnerships with TGH and USF Health, in the work done through Mr. Ayers along with Mr. Robinson, we're able to look at refining and reopening the overall stance to for our spectators to our events, not only related to football games but volleyball games as well. So what we'll be doing is expanding, really relatively going to around 50% capacity in our facilities, putting around 400 individuals, up to 400 individuals in our volleyball games, 1,500 to our football games, and to be able to allow our individuals to come participate. We know how important these events are, but at the same time, we will continue to make certain that we have a strong emphasis on social distancing. Everyone will have to wear face coverings on our properties, and we'll continue to disinfect and make sure we have proper hygiene along the way. We will continue to make certain that while we had pods of individuals sitting in pods of 4, we will now be expanding that to 10 and make certain with the face coverings, and we'll have separation related to social distancing of those particular pods. And then we will continue to discourage any movement around the facilities, not having no congregations in particular areas, making certain everyone who's there is either in the line for the concession, or they're in the restroom line for the restroom, or they're sitting in the stadium, be able to continue to cheer in a respectful way for all their participants. And one thing we've had great success with is we'll continue to make certain that we have purchasing our tickets in advance online. Once all tickets are sold out for that particular event, tickets will no longer be available, and will be paperless entry, and we will have cashless concession stands and parking, and our staff is doing a really nice job. But we really thank our local public health partners for helping us with this plan as we continue to Mr. Ayers and Mr. Robinson, as we continue to expand. As you know, we have many constituents and students are ready to be a part, to participate and be a part of these special events, and to be able to have ownership and pride within their particular school. Also, we talk about new initiatives. A lot of new things going on in Hillsborough County. For the first time ever, we launched a Facebook and a Twitter account in Espanol, and we have over 80,000 students in our community, and our students that we serve that are identified as Hispanic, and that makes up the majority of our student body within our community. Over 37% of our students are identified as Hispanic. So we've got to do a better job openly about how we are communicating with our parents, how are we communicating with our students, and this new launch truly allows us to make that connectivity, to be able to allow families to be informed of what we're doing, look at processes, look at targets, be informed of our projects, so they can actively be successful within our environment. So, and also one of the biggest things we have in our communications department, we have one individual that's dedicated to this platform that is that connectivity between the community and also the all of our initiatives in our school district, that truly allows us to continue to have a better approach. This is all about celebrating rich diversity, and this is another a step in the right direction to show a sense of care through the organization. Also, we're going to launch, I just launched today, one of the biggest things as we're leading through a pandemic and starting to really transition to look at best practices inside and outside of the classrooms. It's very important for me as a leader to surround myself with educators to figure out what's working, what's not, and what we can do differently every single day. So today I launched the inaugural Superintendent's Teacher Advisory Council. This will be able to, for me to identify individuals from pre-K to 12. We'll have 2 individuals per grade level. That would be inclusive of resource teachers, elective teachers, all to come to be able to apply for this advisory council. There will be a screening process and an interview process for us to select individuals to be a part of this. This is going to be, while we'll start in October to identify, after that it'll be a 7-month commitment that I'll meet once a month with these individuals to be able to really talk about how we improve the overall environment, to make certain we have a safe, nurturing environment, and for me to be able to bounce off particular ideas about how we continue to be healthy overall culturally and instructionally and academically, with teachers in the forefront of the decision making and being a really truly sound bar. And I hope that we have lots and lots of individuals that apply, because I'm really looking for some individuals to help me be a game changer in this work every single day in Hillsborough County. In addition, we also have, we'll be launching tomorrow our Career Technical Education Tech Talk. One of the biggest things is, when I always go to speak at events, or I'm in the community or grocery store, or when I'm out for a run, I get stopped to really ask me about vocational pathways that we have. When, I'm getting asked, when will we go back to the traditional pathways? And our community needs to know that we really do a nice job in Hillsborough County creating pathways for our students. We have some awesome programs, awesome teachers leading this work, and this Tech Talk is going to celebrate what's happening in all of our schools, to be able to talk about the accomplishments that students are obtaining, to talk about the accomplishments that our teachers are attaining through CTE, and then also being able to highlight the programs and the pathways that we offer every single day for our students. This will be published monthly. I will send this out tomorrow. Also, this is about increasing awareness. We've got to not only be able to expose our students who are transition from middle school to high school about our pathways, but this has got to be a constant, a continuation of kindergarten to 12th grade to be able to highlight some of the really great things that are happening within our schools. And we have got some really special teachers doing some really cool, neat things with our children every single day. So look for that tomorrow. We'll be able to launch that and have that connectivity. Also, every board agenda, there's consent items that I'd like to review because there's a number of expenditures, and I want to be able to connect those overall elements to the overall cost and funding source. So 601 was all about our adoption process, which was been out there for us to have public notice and being able to have input. This is all about looking at instructional materials for health and human science, industry technology, and IB mathematics. This funding is $1.2 million, and that money is being used through instructional materials, which is provided by the Department of Education. This pot of money can only be used for instructional materials, and these protect over 20 titles with health and human science, from barbering, cosmetology, early childhood, dental aid, and then also looking at the industry technology, was all about drafting, building, construction, welding, and then looking at IB, which is all about the upper level analysis and approaches 1 and 2 and others. So just want to make certain everyone in the community understands where this money is being approved by the board and where that categorical is linked to. 602 is approval of curriculum and CTE assessments. These are all the purchase of curriculums that really strengthen the CTE programs and allow our students to meet industry certification examinations. And to date, we've spent over $33,000. Thank you to Mr. Brooks. He's really working hard to protect this money and also leverage Perkins grants in order to make certain our children have and obtain acceleration through industry certifications, which allow them to separate themselves when they transition to a interview process or they transition to a particular pathway or the workforce or a collegiate program that allows them to be able to compete in a different manner. And then also we have approval of change order for building signage. This is a really good initiative that we've really done. We have a really beautiful relationship in Hillsborough County with our first responders from local law authorities and fire rescue. And one thing we wanted to do was make certain that when we have these partnerships, and if we're ever forced with an undesired behavior, when they come on our campuses, they're able to be able to identify, signages of what particular building to be able to go to, so that they can take a swift action to be able to address any issue that may come on board. And this is an expansion. We've already done our high schools. This is going to be our middle schools. And Centegix allows us to have a really centralized indicator of particular buildings for law enforcement and fire rescues for immediate response. And this is just going to expedite the work to be able to get the middle schools labeled as well. And then finally, approval of emergency order purchases. As a board during this pandemic, gave the superintendent, myself, the ability to have purchases. And we spent $10 million, and that was all linked to buying thousands and thousands of Chromebooks, to be able to buy Chrome licenses, to be able to buy PPE, all related to masks. And at the same time, we were able to buy and purchase water bottles and water for our students, because our water fountains are not operational at this particular time. So all of that, around $9.8 million is all going to be refundable through this CARES Act, and the other we will absorb internally. So being able to leverage, federal funding with this says a lot about us being creative in that work every day. And then also sales tax. The board, is done a really nice job in the executive committee to be able to make sure we monitor every dollar spent related about the leveraging the tax referendum To date, we want to make certain that we provide the community where we are financially. As you can see, the comparison from 2019 to 2020, we were only $3.9 million away from where we were last year. And as we've driven through the pandemic and we've shut down this community, this is really positive numbers to be able to look at. We are projected to have around $130 million come to our school district. I do believe now that we've opened up to phase 3, you'll start to see greater movement in our community, which brings additional dollars to allow us to continue to address deferred years and years and years of deferred maintenance within our community, to address AC, roofing, HVAC, you name it. We're being able to do this, and really proud of our committee, Mr. Farkas leading this work, and be able to continue to create a pulse of where we are and how we're using our finances to our community in a fiscal responsible manner every single day. And then next steps. A lot of us coming up. One thing, next steps, and Ms. Perez will be able to speak about it. I had a chance to meet with Melanie Hall, the Executive Director of the Family Healthcare Foundation, and to really talk about how we continue to improve our families' access to quality health care. And this is all about coverage for children and adults. And Ms. Perez will speak about it a little bit later in her responses, but thank you for making that connectivity, getting the word out to principals to be able to have and to our employees. There's a number of options for us to be able to help you if there's a need in healthcare, and Ms. Perez will be able to get that to a deeper. But overall, this is big ticket items. This is FTE week, and while we're held harmless for the emergency order, this is truly a week we're really trying to capture our students. We've done a really nice job to date of where we are, being able to reduce that number of students that we have not identified or not within our school district. Hats off to Kim Bays and her teams, and also Tracy Brown and her team, and Shay McRae and her teams for leveraging school personnel along with social workers. They're doing a really nice job this week. Also, there's also discussions. I want the community to know and the board to know that our team is discussing the return to brick and mortar for e-learning. We're getting inundated with students. We know that we've made the commitment for the first semester, and we will honor that commitment. But we're getting inundated with parents and students that want to come back to our schools. Our principals are doing a really nice job to be able to accept students where they have availability for class size, and we know our teachers are hanging in there with us to help this, and we know that we will continue to help them address this. As soon as we get our children back, it will level classrooms to a better degree. But where we have availability, we are bringing our children back to be able to service them through e-learning. But we're talking about a potential plan to maybe potentially ask our community, where are they, what's their thoughts about who are remote learning potentially coming back, so we can better prepare our schools. And we have multiple conversations that need to happen through HR, and we're going to be able to sit down with Stephanie and Rob as well to talk about where we are and build that platform. And then also visitors on campus. As we are in phase 3, we want the community to know we're going to start looking at visitors on campus. We will be very mindful. We're going to try. We have limited visitors as of right now, and be able the next 30 days, starting in November potentially, or middle of November. What does that look like for our continued partners? What does that look like for volunteers? What does that look like for individuals that are driving the work for PTSAs to be able to come on campus and do it in a very intentional manner, so more information will be rolled out to our schools and our community as well. And then also district and school-based facility rental. We're looking right now for forecastability for our schools to be able to continue to start the rentals back up by November the 1st. And we're working with operations and facilities usage to be able to put that information out. And I think we've done a really nice job pausing this. And but there may be some, for those who are renting our facilities, there definitely may be some different elements that we'll have to have a collective conversation about moving forward due to the pandemic, and to make certain that we have a clean environment for after individuals are using these facilities. And then also visual performing arts and culinary arts events. We want to make certain that we are ready and primed for events to take place. So we're going to build more guidance around concerts, around visual performing art events. We know that's a big thriving part. So we want to make certain we get a chance to let our students demonstrate their skills, and allow our community to be able to embrace that the same way we've done athletic events. In culinary, we know we got culinary chomping at the bit. They're making food every single day. One of the things that we openly have halted is not being able to disseminate that food. We want to be able to protect others. But I think we're getting to a closer opportunity to be able to have allow them to start, with guidelines how that, individuals will be able to consume the food that they're cooking every single day. We'll work with other partners to be able to have that are outside partners to make informed decision, but that'll be forthcoming. And then also our Magnet Choice window. Now it will be open November 2nd through 11th. We have Simtastics that's going to be up and running. I believe it's this week on the 8th, and we send that to our community just to talk about what we're really offering. We're offering some really special pathways for our students. So parents, please pay attention to this window. It's really important about what you do for for the 21-22 school year, and really stay connected because our schools have a lot to offer, and we want you to be apprised of what those pathways may be. And that's it at this particular time.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. We do have some board questions and comments. We'll begin with Member Gray.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I want to thank you for putting together the Superintendent Teacher Advisory Council. That's cool because you said the word forefront, but putting our teachers in the forefront as much as possible is to me just the way to learn of the needs of the schools and our children. So I thank you for that. And it is World Teacher Month, so this is a very timely announcement. I just had one question. How many students, Superintendent Davis, are we missing as of, today? I know we had 7,300, and now we have 5,000, but what?
Yes, ma'am. So every day that goes by, this is very different than historical years. Every day that goes by, we get more students, and we usually historically look at our 20-day count, but now that we've been kind of grandfathered in for the October, we're able to look at the new counts every single day, and I think of the hard work of our social workers and Kim Bays and Shay McCray and regional superintendents and school-based principals. We are budgeted proposal at 223,000 students. And of that right now, if we look at number of students that are in our system, and this is inclusive of charter, we're over 219,000. So we're around 3,000 students right now that we've kind of narrowed that gap down to. So of those 3,000 students, we're working collectively to identify their particular location. One thing we do know is that we have more students in homeschool than this year than last year. And around right now it's over 2,800 students more in homeschool. So we're doing a really nice job. So we're getting really close to identifying every one of our students where they are, and being able to talk to them about their location, what their next steps will be. Are they interested in coming back? So we're closing that gap every single day.
Yeah, and just in conclusion, your whole presentation would show an enormous amount of normalcy, and that's what our children need, tremendous in our families. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Member Gray. I just had a quick question because of the campuses that I've been visiting. It seems that there's a theme of a lot of parents wanting to bring their students back to brick and mortar. Maybe it wasn't what they expected, maybe the e-learning experience, even though we communicated it I thought we communicated very clearly that it wasn't going to be the same as the last 9 weeks of the previous school year. I don't know, I can only assume that there's some challenges for various reasons. But do you have a number or a percentage of the change, like the people who, from the Declaration of Intent, chose e-learning? And if you don't have it, I didn't prepare you for this.
No,
so
it's okay.
But I was just curious, like from the people who chose e-learning and now are wanting to come back to brick and mortar, how many students are we talking, or what percentage change is that from the Declaration of Intent to this particular juncture?
Yes, ma'am. So originally when we started this, and we had around 48% of our students that were going to come back to brick and mortar, 48 to 49. Now I believe we're at 55, 56% of our students that are at brick and mortar. So there's been a significant change every single day of our students coming in. And I'll be able to get a better number for you by tomorrow morning and send to the board. But we see, if we have schools openly with a waiting list, they're ready to come back. So and we also have some students that really enjoy the e-learning process, and we want to be able to respect them. And we have some teachers doing a really good job with the e-learning process. And we got some teachers ready to come back as well. So we'll be able to use that information if we send the intent out to figure out, how many of those individuals would aspire to come back.
But it sounds like what you're saying basically is because, we have honored the decision to have the entire semester as all three options for students. So we're not going to be changing that.
Oh, ma'am.
And so you can expect nothing significantly until possibly the second half of the school year as far as any difference in choices. So right now, e-learning is still a choice, brick and mortar is still a choice, virtual school is still a choice for the entire semester.
Through the chair, yes, ma'am, that is correct. And as the second 9 weeks starts, we'll start being able to have more planning sessions with the board and interact in the community about what to expect for the second semester. But the first semester is completely, we're completely committed to the options we provided.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. But there's been a lot of questions about
Yes, ma'am. It's fair.
Potentially opening back up the second semester, but that's not the case. It's going to be, at the earliest, it would be January.
Yes, ma'am, that's second semester. Yes, ma'am.
For
Second.
total brick and mortar. Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Kona?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Superintendent, thank you for your comments, your presentation today. Thank you for spotlighting CTE programs. One of the things I do want to bring up, and I think I briefed you a little bit on this, is when I was at Egypt Lake, there is a daycare facility which is almost touching campus, and parents chose e-learning only because our host was limited, and they couldn't, have their kids there. So have we looked at expanding our host opportunities for our families?
Yes, sir. Through the chair, we absolutely have, and we wanted to make certain that originally they were defined seats and roles, but we're definitely working to open up every one of these seats. Ms. Brown, you want to provide an update to the board?
Yes, I can.
Thank
We
you.
are hiring. We have to maintain a ratio. So as we hire more employees for our host program, we are filling all those seats. So we're on our way.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kona. Ms. Stewart? Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Schamberger? Wait, Ms. Stewart?
I'm sorry, I took my name off of my.
Okay, Ms. Stewart, then Ms. Schamberger.
Thank you. Superintendent, in the athletics reopening plan, I just want to make sure, how do we know how many, when we talk about quarantine students or coaches, do we know where our numbers are on that? Because what I'm hearing is that some students are choosing to move from brick and mortar back to e-learning in order to protect themselves so they can continue to play their sport, which I don't have a problem with, but not everyone can do that. For example, I know that there have been a number of students who were quarantined from a sport at a particular high school, and I don't want us to get to a place where that sport can't happen. And kids, I feel like they're almost having to flip-flop back and forth in order to play their sport. So I'm wondering if we're watching how many student athletes are actually, and thank you for clarifying that face coverings will still be required as we reopen facilities for athletics. I know that wasn't clear, and there was some confusion about that today. I am really happy to see the, I think I'm pleasantly surprised more than anybody to see the sales tax referendum proceeds. I think we were expecting a much larger dip in these dollars based on the fact that, Hillsborough County was shut down on March 13th, and to be only down not quite $4 million over a time period from, actually you're tracking from January to July, that really isn't too terribly horrible considering where we could have been. So I'm really glad to see that. And then I would like to ask, on the CARES Act dollars, what was the total amount of CARES Act money that we received as a district?
Through the chair, I think it's $54 million we received in one pocket, and I believe there was another additional money related to gears that we received around $5 million, in which $1 million went to charter and private schools as well. So you get closely around, I think 60, maybe around 60 plus, $63 million.
So if I can make a request, can we get an audit of those dollars? So exactly how much came in and exactly where it was spent, how much went out to charter or private for the next meeting, just to keep track of where we are and what is left unspent. And I don't know that we have dollars that haven't been spent yet, but I'm curious. There's a lot of CARES Act money floating around in this community that, and I'm not tagging this board as not having spent, but as not spent. So I just want to make sure that we are showing that where our dollars are going and how we're using the money to mitigate COVID expenses and COVID-related issues that we're having.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
those are my comments. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Through the chair, we are definitely on top of every dollar and every cent, and every single day with that, especially. And then we are watching. We have every quarantined school data to be able to inform our decision, to be able to make certain that where there's particular potential issues, we are partnering with not only Mrs. Brown Climate and Culture Shop, but also Department of Health, TGH, and USF Health, and we're doing site visits. We're going to schools and actually looking at whether or not systems can be improved, what's going on with student interaction, social distancing, face covering, sanitation stations. We're doing all those, and I think we have 3 this week that we will be walking with TGH and USF Health in order for us to figure out how we can improve those experiences.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Stewart. Member Schamberger?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you so much, Mr. Superintendent, for your updates this evening. First, I'd like to talk about your Teacher Advisory Council. Thank you so much for implementing that. I did send you an email with some additional ideas, if you will just allow me to just kind of interject on that, because we know that our teachers' voices are very, very important. And so thank you for giving them a seat at the table to have their voices heard, and so there can be a really good exchange of ideas. So I'm very, very happy to see that. And we can talk about those ideas later.
Awesome.
Okay. And then also, I just really wanted to just take a moment to talk about the consent agenda. Now, you didn't talk about this item, but I think now is just a good time to just really mention it. Item 603. Now, I didn't request that item be pulled because I agree with the agenda item itself, which is basically increasing the scope of project oversight for our project managers. The reason I just wanted to bring that up is because just in theory or in practice moving forward, I think it's very important that this board is proactive in mitigating any potential conflicts moving forward, specifically with our project managers also being allowed to go out and bid for construction manager jobs, because we know that has happened. And so we want to get in front of this now and avoid this now. And I'm not sure what that looks like, whether it's a policy that needs to be implemented or a procedure or something, but let's just kind of rein that in before it kind of gets out of control. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, and we'll certainly like to have more conversation about that.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you, Madam Chair.
All right. Thank you, Member Schamberger. And I just had a follow-up. Thank you, Member Stewart, for bringing up the referendum, because I, too, was kind of surprised that the differential wasn't more than it was. It appears that April, May, and July were a little more significant difference in tax dollars coming in, but I was interested to see that June was actually a higher amount of tax revenue coming in than last June of 2019. Found that very interesting and curious. I had a question with going back to part of your presentation with regard to visitors on campus, and you were talking about mid-November, because the policy right now, or the protocol right now is visitors not being allowed to be on campus like volunteers and so forth. But we do have a lot of organizations that come and do presentations to our students. Would those visitors, would that include that, or will you have like a tiered approach to allowing visitors back in the schools, or is it will you kind of open the floodgates, or how would that, what would that look like? Because we have a lot of people asking when they'll be able to come back in and do presentations to students too.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am, to the chair. So anyone that's a partner with us, that especially if they do before our after-school programming, we want them to be able to connect and do whatever presentations they want to do related to in mid-November. So we'll look at being able to. Right now we are allowing visitors, but they're being very critical mission critical related to how are they moving children, what are they doing in connectivity. So we want to make certain those presentations, if they want to come in now, they're more than welcome to do so, because they're a partner with our children before and after school. But we will have a tiered approach to be able to identify, and I want to work with principals this week during our principals meeting to get their ideas, to figure out what's mission critical, to be able to identify a phased-in approach for individuals coming in. But they'll be inclusive of that process.
Okay, that was my only other question.
Yes, ma'am.
As an afterthought to that. So, okay, thank you so much for your presentation.
Yes,
and it
ma'am.
looks like there are no other comments or questions from board members at this time. So we'll go ahead and move into our regular agenda items. The following items will now be heard on the regular agenda. Items C609, C611, and C1101. And so C609 is the purchase of leveled literacy intervention materials, and Mr. Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. Through the chair, this approval of LLI, which is Level Literacy Intervention, this is all about providing interventions to provide development for students in an appropriate tiered manner related to reading. One thing we want to do is that we know that we have children that are one or two years behind educationally and through literacy, and to be able to provide students with an additional particular treatment, LLI will allow us to do so. And this is going to be used and leveraged through our GEAR grant, which is all about, in our GEAR grant was toward being able to address the achievement gap in our transformational schools. So this will be used on Saturdays, and we are targeting students every Saturday in Transformation Network to be able to help them continue to compete from a literacy perspective. This treatment is not for every child, but this is going to allow us to identify 3 kits per grade level, to be able to identify and look at frameworks for providing effective small group instruction to in assessments to our children, to be able to look at having leveled books, direct instruction for phonics, and also being able to allow us to have better writing development with this initiative. So it's all about oral fluency as well, and in having running records to be able to help our children.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Board members, I need a motion and a second to approve item C609. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Kona. Is there any discussion? Member Gray?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question would be, how does this particular one, I know it's paid out of the GEAR grant, which is great, does this fit in with our literacy audit? How does that
Yes, ma'am.
influence it?
Yes, ma'am. Through the chair, the literacy audit just talked about having supplementary resources to be able to continue to differentiate and really align to address phonics from a foundational perspective, and getting our children to have a foundation where they can start to compete and have strategies to attack content and to be able to absorb and understand. So this is just another resource for teachers to be able to leverage and use, and then also and this is another tiered approach, an instructional approach to use during on Saturdays that will reinforce concepts that teachers are working with during the core, and then at the same time using it for being able to help students continue to use it through tier 2 as well. Mr. Connor, anything else? It's like good fingers up.
You've done good. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Member Gray. Any further discussion? Seeing none, board members, please vote when your lights appear. And it is unanimous. Thank you, board members. Our next item is 611, to approve a resolution authorizing the issuance of a 2020 tax anticipation note and authorize the superintendent and board chair to approve all necessary documents. Mr. Superintendent, can you highlight this item, please?
Yes, ma'am. This is a resolution to be able to address the short-term financial potential shortfalls that we may be experiencing overall as an organization. So I'm going to transition to Mrs. Saunders and Mr. Ford as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, board members. We just wanted to bring this to you and do a little presentation. We have Jerry Ford, president of Ford & Associates, John Ford, and Ritesh Patel with neighbors Giblin and Nickerson here to answer any of your questions. This is just really a follow-up to our one-on-one meetings we had last week. And you have to remember the tax anticipation note is just, it's an insurance policy, it's a bridge, it's another way to make sure we're comfortable with the possibility of having a funding shortfall from the the tax collector's office. A lot of our sister districts do this all the time, anywhere from a $40 million TAN to $475 million TAN, ranges from Lee County all the way to Dade. With that being said, I think the team is ready to go.
Welcome, Mr. Ford and Mr. Ford.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board, Mr. Superintendent. I think it'd be more fun to be a fire marshal today.
Yeah, I know, right?
I really do. Thank you. As Ms. Saunders said, we're here today to discuss the tax anticipation note. Want to point out a couple of things for you. One, this is an item that we believe is a cash flow management item. Because of the way you're funded, and John's going to talk about this in detail, your cash flow has peaks and valleys. And many districts that are largely dependent upon state revenues have bigger peaks, bigger valleys than those poorer districts that are primarily funded through local property tax. So those lows always hit at a certain time of the year that John will discuss. And there are times when those balances, your cash balances, can get low enough that if something were disrupted in the collection process or in the transfer of money from the tax collector to you, or if a hurricane hit, something odd and unexpected hit, you could be in a situation where potentially you would run short on cash. The last thing you want to do as a board member is be late on a paycheck to your teaching corps. And so we view this as what is a very low-cost insurance policy to make sure that your cash flows are maintained and they're smooth. It is very, very short term. It will be paid back within just 2 to 3 months. And the cost is very low on this. So that is, in a nutshell, what this is about. It's necessitated by the fact that you're at this time of the year and your cash balances are lower than they have been in the past. We've thought for the last couple of years you would need to go to this mode, and we think it's a prudent thing for you to do. And so once John finishes with his part of this presentation, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Welcome, Mr. Ford.
Thank you very much. Mr. Superintendent, board members, thank you for having us this evening. As Jerry mentioned, we're going to run through a few slides here. I don't know, do we have this available? No? Okay. So then I'm going to talk through it. Florida school districts are largely funded on the operational side of the house through a program called Florida Education Finance Program, FEFP. This program has been around since the 1970s, and what it effectively does is for every single school district in the state, all 67 of them, it tells them how much of their general fund revenues are going to come from local property taxes and how much is going to come from state revenues, which are derived from sales taxes that we all pay. There's an important distinction, and there are ramifications of how your revenues are split between these two sources. State revenues generated from sales taxes come in on a fairly level monthly basis throughout the year. So in September, you're going to receive an amount that is not all that different than you receive in April. Your property taxes, on the other hand, come in large part between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And what that means is that 4 or 5 months into your fiscal year, you're going to receive a massive amount of your funding on the operational side of the house. That means that from the beginning of your fiscal year on July 1st until you get to about Thanksgiving, your expenses, which are also pretty level, are probably going to outstrip your revenues, which means that your cash reserves are going to fall during that time period. If you were a district that was highly reliant on local property taxes, that probably means that you are a wealthier district. That's the way the very complex FEFP formula tends to work. Your chances, therefore, of running into a cash flow problem are a little bit ironically greater than that of poorer districts that derive more of their funding from state sales taxes. So you don't usually see the poorest districts in the state of Florida issuing tax anticipation notes. On the other hand, you will from time to time see some of the wealthier districts issue tax anticipation notes. I believe that staff has already shared with you cash flow projections for this year, as well as cash flow histories for fiscal years 19 and 20. And when your staff prepares cash flow projections, that is a painstaking process. It's difficult. They are trying to predict on exactly which day monies will go out and come in. Some of those things are within their control, and many of those things are not. So at this time, general fund cash position, this is different than fund balance, that's an accounting term. Your cash position is projected by staff to reach an amount of approximately $10 million in mid-November, just prior to the receipt of your property taxes. For the record, in terms of liquidity, days cash on hand, if anybody's familiar with that metric, $10 million is equivalent to about 2 days of your general fund expenditures for the fiscal year 2020. You get it. How do we bridge this gap? Florida Statute 101113 allows for the issuance of tax anticipation notes, usually referred to as TANs. TANs are typically issued between the months of August and October. They are almost always repaid during the fiscal year in which they are issued, and it is a short-term borrowing that you can use to bridge this liquidity gap that many school districts face. You cannot use tax anticipation notes to kick expenses from one fiscal year to the next, because prior to issuing a TAN, you must repay any TAN that is outstanding. So you can't leapfrog them through the years. Last year, at least 10 Florida school districts issued tax anticipation notes. Those included Broward, Charlotte, Dade, Flagler, Indian River, Lee, Manatee, Palm Beach, Pinellas, St. Lucie, and Sumter counties. This year, several of those school districts have already issued TANs, and historically they have ranged in size from $1.6 million, that was the little county of Hamilton County Schools in 2017, to $475 million, which Ms. Saunders already mentioned. That was Miami-Dade Schools, and it sold just a week or two ago. TANs are usually issued in one of two different ways. First of all is a competitive public offering. It's a public securities issue. That's where we prepare a prospectus called a preliminary official statement. It is marketed with a notice of sale, and broker dealers, the big firms, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, they can come in and bid on your securities at auction, and they are typically awarded to the lowest cost conforming bid. The other method is, of course, to go through a commercial bank for either a loan or a line of credit. That is much more common for school districts issuing small TANs in the range of changes depending upon the other costs involved, but call it $15 million or less. That's very typical. Occasionally you will get one that is larger than that, but that's a rough estimate of the size break even. We've worked with staff. TANs can be sized under federal tax law according to a two-pronged test. One is you're allowed to borrow the amount of your maximum projected deficit. Hillsborough Schools is not projecting a deficit. You are projecting that your cash flow will get down to about $10 million. It will not go negative. Often we see negative numbers. The second prong of the test is what's called a working capital reserve, which means that you're allowed to borrow the equivalent of 5% of last year's total general fund expenditures. That was, according to the unaudited annual financial report, about $1,842,000,000. And that number, you take those two prongs of the test, it gives us a number of about $82 million maximum allowable TAN size. I believe the resolution to you tonight, before you tonight, says not to exceed $80 million. And if we went to market today, I think that the number we've discussed is about $75 million. The reason for that is because if we don't actually hit our deficit, we don't want to borrow more than we were legally allowed to. And there is a chance when doing these cash flows that if a check clears one day earlier or one day late, wires go out soon or late, that your deficit can change. It's a big school district. You send out big checks. We're talking about a swing of $5, $10, $20 million. So keeping us safe. We have recommended a competitive public offering. Current estimates are that we would, with your approval tonight, we would price the transaction on October 20th. We would close the transaction on October 29th. And the maturity date, when all the principal and interest would be due in a lump sum, is on January 31st or thereabouts. We've estimated a net interest cost of about 0.25%, and cost of issuance for this transaction, I estimate roughly $70,000. All in, you put your interest cost and your expenses together, and you get a total cost percentage of about 0.64%. That's similar to the APR in your mortgage. So total cost about 0.64%. With that, either I or Jerry or Mr. Patel will answer any questions.
Well, first we're going to actually ask the board for a motion and a second to approve this item, and then we'll have some further discussion on it. So board members, I need a motion and a second to approve this item. I only put my name in there because I do have discussion questions. Ms. Gray, is that a motion to? Okay. Ms. Perez, is that a motion to approve? Can I get a second to approve the recommendation? Mr. Kona is going to second. Okay, now we are open for discussion and questions. So thank you, gentlemen, for being here this evening and answering, and thank you for the individual meetings that you've had with each board member to go through this in detail. And I just wanted to kind of reiterate some of the things that you have said and clarify some of the things. So you mentioned there are several other school districts that do this across the state, at least 10, I think, that did it last year. But I think we also had the discussion about this being a standard operating procedure for some school districts across the state. Would you say that is an accurate statement?
It is. School districts, by and large, it's not true every year, but in most years you will see Miami-Dade, Broward schools, Palm Beach schools, Pinellas schools issue on an annual basis, St. Lucie schools. Others are more hit and miss but issue frequently. Lee Schools was in the market today with $40 million. They had 12 bids. Their cost on it was 0.17% was their winning bid out of that dozen. So it's very common.
Okay. And the fact that there could be a potential deferral of property taxes due or penalties due, does that have any impact on the fact that we're having to take this out? Or would that, if that happens regardless, would we still need to take this particular bridge loan out?
This is independent of that.
It is independent.
But we're very concerned about that, depending upon how such a deferral were stated. If, for example, they waived any interest and penalties on everything that's out there, and banks decided not to take the money that they're already holding in escrow, which is money that in essence is yours, and not pay that until that final date, that would have a chilling effect. And if I were a school board member, I would be jumping out of my skin over that possibility. I would say that would be totally unacceptable. So we don't know how, that might come down yet, but it is not directly bearing at this point in time on that issue. John, would you agree with that? Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that those were two separate, distinctly separate issues, but then also raise awareness that should be something that makes us jump out of our skin as board members, and that because there is a potential for that to happen. I would say it's a long shot, but it could happen, and that could have a unique impact, and that's maybe something that we can talk about separately as a board, but that does obviously concern us. If something like that should happen, does the repayment term could it be extended if needed, or is it definitely a hard repayment date of January?
It is a hard repayment date. Mm-hmm. You could choose to modify the document on the dais tonight and let it go out longer, but it is a hard repayment date. But remember, you get a small tax payment that comes in November. A lot of it comes in December, and then another big chunk in January, with less coming in after that. So unless somebody politically does something stupid, not in this boardroom, but outside with that deferral, you should be in fine shape for this. You can't control what people might do in an election year, but it would be pretty shocking if they did something that disrupted that.
So this is a good insurance policy. Regardless of that this is a responsible decision that we need to make this evening to ensure that we can continue to overcome any shortfall that might occur for our employees.
This is a tool that you should use to give your employees a safety net.
Yeah.
That is.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, so we have a few other board comments and questions. We'll go next to Ms. Gray.
Thank you, gentlemen, for giving that explanation. I took about 4 pages of notes the other day when you explained it, and I have a really good sense that that this will protect the teachers' salaries, and that's so critical, and our vendors. So, having that being said, there was a few questions I have. If the state, like you just said, it probably won't happen, but if they do lower our base student allocation monies, will they hold us harmless for this, or what might happen if they do?
Ms. Gray, I'm going to be a little bit flippant, and we know each other well enough for that, I think, but you've heard me say before, people who use crystal balls end up eating glass.
Okay.
And there is just no way to know what the state is going to do. The fact of the matter is they may or may not hold you harmless. If they did hold you harmless, a decline in state revenues could still force them to readjust what they were going to give you, what they would call a proration, and we just don't know when or if those things will occur.
Yeah, that's
So there are no guarantees that you're going to get the amount you think you're going to get.
So thank you for that. And how many times? And our fund balance is not real healthy. How many times do you anticipate or to repeat this? Some districts repeat it over and over.
Well, you mentioned fund balance, and the fact of the matter is that part of the reason for this is that your fund balance has been in decline, and it's been in decline for many years. This is not a new problem. It didn't happen overnight. I'm sure that Superintendent Davis and Dr. Kemp were somewhat in shock when they got here and found out that they inherited this situation. But while they work out, if you approve the plan that they have developed to help work through this and get yourself right, it's going to take a few years. So you might be doing this for a few years. That would certainly, we think, be a prudent move rather than having to worry every minute right up until that tax collection came in to know if it was going to happen or not. That nobody needs that kind of stress. The cost of this is just too small. So we would think that you're probably going to be wanting to do this while you're implementing the plan that they've laid out for you.
Okay. My other question is, and this might have to go to Superintendent Davis. Superintendent Davis, this investment will give us more, I don't know, will this investment, we're calling it an investment because that's what you all share it as in terms of a vocabulary. So will this give you more freedom to retain units? Will that affect or intersect in any way the units being lost?
So through the chair, this doesn't have any impact on that. Let's address this. This is to really protect all of our employees in the organization that we now. This is to make certain that every 2 weeks we are making certain we're holding up our end of the bargain and showing them value for their hard work every single day. And that, just making certain that we don't get down to that $10 million reserve balance where we only have 2 days to be able to compensate. So this protects us from that particular area. As it relates to, looking at units, we have a really thoughtful plan that's going to be, I'll engage board members at the end of this week that's going to work to protect as many educators as we can to protect our schools, and I'll share that information in the week.
Okay, and one other question, and this will have to go to the superintendent. Will this investment also affect our future capital expenses, such as new school buildings or a 5-year plan?
Yes, ma'am, through the chair, it will not. So what this does is just acts as a bridge to get us through the coming months. Once we get, if we're able to and needing to use it, then we will build and have a plan that will get us to a point where we're in a better spot financially. We will use the audit report that should be coming out really soon from the Council of Great City Schools to build a strategic plan financially to be able to build a pathway of getting us back to a place where we feel comfortable every day.
Thank you. And I want to say you have given me, at least as a board member, a comfort level, and I appreciate what you're doing, and I have trust with your firm and your counsel. So, having said that, I'm happy to. I think this is a great way to secure those emergency fundings should we ever get to that situation, and I think we're just about there. Because Gretchen's shaking her head yes, so I'm sure we have to do this. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Kona?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you both for being here and your presentation and the presentation you provided us on the call. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is not, for us, a good place to be. This is the first time we've taken out a TAN. Is that correct?
It is correct.
Okay, so we've seen the fund balance over a number of years, and you guys have been around for a long time, and you guys have seen the decline in that fund balance, and we realize that the decline in that fund balance is because, this money hasn't vanished. This money has gone. The majority of these funds have gone to salaries and benefits of our employees. So this is not money that has gone missing. This is money that we have allocated to hire and to retain our teachers. What's disturbing in my perspective is that since 2015, basically $197 million has been transferred from capital into filling budget holes for the school district. I personally think that that's an unacceptable practice. This isn't a practice that was started with this board. This is a practice that started, back in 2015. It's not a sustainable practice. It's not someplace we want to be. This is not an investment. This is us covering one payroll. Well, half a month's payroll. It's a 2-week payroll that we're taking out here to cover. I mean, this is not something that is, this is not a sustainable practice. I understand it gives us the opportunity. Now, it is also my understanding that we can only do this once per budget year. Is that correct?
You have to pay back what you borrowed before you could do it again.
Before you can do it again. So, this is not a good position for us to be in. To have $10 million in the bank in November, not a good place to be. It's the first time that this has happened in our school district. I'm not happy about this. It's something that we have to do to protect our salaries, but it's not something that should be done in every year, in my opinion. We have to make some difficult decisions to get our budget in line where we are not having to take out a TAN loan every November because we can't meet payroll. That is just not a good place to be. It's not a good place to be for our school district. It's not healthy for our school district. It's not healthy for our students to have a district that is in this type of financial crisis. So I think we have to do it. We have to pay it back. The fact that we have to spend money to make payroll, it doesn't sit well with me. But I appreciate your guidance in this. And can you tell me the effects that this could possibly have on our bond rating?
Well, we will not see those impacts until we have a call with Moody's tomorrow. They will rate this. It's a separate rating for tax anticipation notes. It's what's called a short-term rating, and it is a Moody's investment grade rating. Most TANs have a MIG, Moody's investment grade 1. We are hopeful that that's what you will have here. At the same time, there is not a person sitting on this dais that has not heard me say many times that we are concerned about your level of fund balances. We've seen 2 downgrades over the last several years, one by Moody's, a double downgrade by Fitch early this year, and we believe that with the additional drop in your fund balances, we're going to see further downgrades. Whether or not that has an impact on the TAN rating, we do not know. We do not think so. But you're going to have repercussions from your financial situation. It's not because you're borrowing the TAN. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen.
Yeah, and as John says, while they're looking at this tax anticipation note, it is highly likely that they will look at your long-term ratings as well. I would if I were in their seat.
Thank you. Member Stewart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I thank you for that question, Member Kona, and I would agree with you that they are going to look at a district that starts the year $25 million less in fund balance. Fund balance has been a conversation at this dais for the last 8 years about the continual use of fund balance and the lack of increase in fund balance. And I believe last year we had this conversation. There was very little money that was set aside for fund balance. And anyway, so it's a little bit disturbing. I'm disappointed that the graphics that you had for our individual presentations aren't available tonight, because they were a really healthy picture of the last few years. And I don't mean a healthy fund balance. I just mean they were a great illustration of the ups and downs and how our fund balance fluctuates over the course of the year. So I don't know, Superintendent, if you can get that and share that maybe publicly. Yes, ma'am. I did have the same question about the effects on our ratings, but I have some concerns, Mr. Superintendent, and this is just for forward thinking. We've been through this process since you took over in March and really into the summer when we started closing out the year and what our fund balance was going to look like. And then, that was a little bit jarring for the entire board to hear and for the community to hear. Where is this money going and what happened? I'm still have lots of questions around what happened, but and how we got there. But I think too, for the community and understand, we are the largest employer in this community. We have got to talk about the stability of Hillsborough County Public Schools. Whether it's financially, whether it's morale, whether it's how we're educating students, we are a huge, huge indicator of how this community is doing. And so my concern is that it's like we hit one bump and then things quiet down. We hit another bump and things have to quiet down. And then now here we are in mid-October with another bump in the road. This so easily could have been discussed all at once. Like, the fund balance is down. We know where we are. We know we have missing students. We know that. We've been talking about missing students for a while, and the number of students that have gone to homeschool and to virtual. We could have, I think, mitigated some of the alarm in this community by, when you bring the line of credit, bring the TAN note. I mean, these are safety precautions that we put in place that are healthy for this district. Other districts do this. Everyone has a savings account that you hook to your checking account. So if you bounce a check, there's not checks bouncing all over town. That's what this is. I'm not as concerned as others about the fact that property taxes and won't be collected, because a lot of people's taxes are connected to their mortgages. And if you're not paying your mortgage, then you're going to lose your house. So you're, in a sense, paying your taxes as well. So I'm not concerned about the collection of that, but I am very concerned that I feel like we keep raising the red flag, and at some point people are not going to be listening to what is happening here. And again, this board went out for referendum. We went out and asked the taxpayers for more money. And so the questions just keep coming about how we can, in a long-range plan, manage what it is that we're doing, instead of having these constant red flags being raised around what is happening with our fund balance. We need to be talking about other things that are happening in this community and not constantly talking about, and I'm not opposed to having the transparent conversation about what is happening, but I just feel like every time we get to the dais, it's another thing in front of us about a fund balance issue. And so, Mr. Superintendent, what I would challenge is that this is something that becomes practice, that this is something that gets put in place just like the line of credit, so that if there's an emergency, we are not having to raise red flags in the community about what it is that we do to make sure that we make payroll. So that would be my only concern. And I don't know if that's a policy change, Mr. Porter, or if we can check into that. I know that we're already looking at the policy around fund balance and the way that those things are being handled. But I'm also very concerned that our fund balance has dipped so low that that is also going to affect our ratings come the time that we head back to New York and what that looks like. We are below our own policy levels of 5%.
Yeah,
So those are really my comments. I appreciate the presentation. I was hoping you had, especially the graph that John showed about the past couple of years and what that looked like, so that we could show the general public that we typically dip in fund balance in November. But my concern, like I said, is that the long range planning of how the forecasting of what this looks like, we've known since July that we've had a $25 million setback in our fund balance. And so how we plan from July to now without continuing to alarm the community and this board, I mean, it brings great questions for us to have to answer to the community and to the public. And it's very difficult for the community to understand what exactly is happening with our budget, because it is a huge budget. And people will say, well, the superintendent was hired at a higher rate and we're spending money on projects, not knowing that that money has to be spent that way, and our other dollars have to be spent in a different way. So those would be my recommendations and my concern about how we continue to approach the issue, because this isn't going to be a one-time or one-year issue. So thank you for your presentation.
I think Mr. Superintendent has some comment on that, Mr. Davis?
Yes, ma'am. Sue, I don't disagree. So next year you won't have the part where I'm trying to peel an onion and identify what I reveal. I mean, and let me say it. We start out in May where a projected fund balance, which was $50 million, it transitioned, and this team was able to get it from $50 million deficit to a $32 million deficit. So it's 32. Then we started looking at overall how did the reserve balance get to it, because you got to remember, while you end June 30th, you don't get the actual fund balance till September, and we're just in October. So you start to be able to look at all the financial angles of what the money was spent and what creates that fund balance, and then look at a historical perspective of how that fund balance was generated or initiated or saved, and you start looking at a particular point of the capital money and being able to say, was there potential faults related to a fund balance and how that money was used and not being able to put in schools, $197 million. And then so that creates a $32 million decrease on expenditures. Then now we're faced with a $40 million deficit because we're out of capital outlay, and then we transition. So as we see these issues, we're better understanding, and I can tell you next year it won't be chopped up because we will own the budget, and I own the budget. So if anything happens, you can hold me accountable and the team accountable. But every day we're seeing stuff related to Spark, how Title I's being used, and now the states redefine how Spark's used, and you can't use Title I the way it was used last year. So now we got to look at SAI dollars, and now you're taking SAI dollars away from schools. So I'm telling you, we have issues in a number of pocket of areas that we're trying to solve and create stability in that process. Is it difficult? Is it uncomfortable? Absolutely. But this process has to happen in order for us to get it back on track, and we're committed to doing so.
Thank you, Member Stewart. Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. We have another comment from Ms. Gray.
So I was listening, of course, to the other board members' comments, and what I wanted to share are just three things. Number one, first off, we've had a catastrophic budget shortage in the late 1980s, and I remember that, and I shared that with the superintendent and actually the board. But what's different with this time is that we have COVID on top of it. COVID, those expenses, the computers, and the food, which was great, but all these extra costs, PPE, on top of it. So, Member Kona, I am also very, very alarmed that we're doing this because we've never. However, the reality is what it is. So, making sure this is being done, I think, is very critical. Secondly, the education, we're talking about, to the public, a TAN note. Now, I don't know how many people really understand what that is, what it means, and all the implications. So what you two have done is, in public, shared an educational financial matter with all of the audiences that may be watching. And that is very important. It's very important because they need to be aware as to why we're doing unit cuts. Why? What is going on that we have to take such severe action? And unless people, our parents and our staff and all of our vendors, the business community and the local political community, they have to understand why we're doing what we need to do. So I applaud. Now, I know that's a very strong word, but I am very much advocating that this is part of the process of educating the public, and we need to continue. Superintendent Davis, we need to continue at all matters to do exactly what we're doing. And that's what I wanted to say. So that was three things, but again and again, communication can't just be to us board members. It has to be also to the taxpayers. And you just gave the communication an educational piece, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate your time this evening and appreciate your explanation and answering the questions that our board members have posed. We'll get that graphic information out on the website. Mr. Davis, I think, will be able to get that out to the public so they can see what you presented board members on our one-to-one meetings. And if there are no further questions or comments from board members, we will go ahead and vote when your lights appear, please. Thank you, board members. And it is unanimous. Thank you. Thank you again. Board members, at this time, we're going to move into the employee input portion of our meeting. It is a time certain of 6 o'clock. We're just a few minutes behind. Mr. Kona is going to read our employee input guidelines this evening before we begin. Mr. Kona?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We will now take employee input. Even though we hear from the public at the beginning of the meeting, it is sometimes difficult for our employees of our school district to attend meetings at 4 p.m. There are many ways for employees to voice their opinions to the board. It includes union representation, emails, phone calls, one-on-one conversations, and public comment at the beginning of the meeting. The board wants to hear from you. This section of our agenda, we have created another avenue for employees to speak to the board. We are setting aside 30 minutes for employees of this school district to speak to the board about any issue that is on your mind. This is not intended to be a discussion about a specific agenda item or tonight's agenda, but rather an opportunity for you to speak to the board about any issues related to your job and the school district. Each speaker will have 3 minutes, and here are the first 3 speakers.
Thank you, Member Kona. Our first 3 speakers will be Rochelle Gardo, Emily Lee, and Rob Crete. If Ms. Gardo could go ahead and approach the lectern. Thank you so much. Welcome. You have 3 minutes.
I come here this evening with concerns as a classroom teacher that affect the students in our district. The Achieve 3000 program that Mr. Davis's brother is heavily involved with, teachers didn't get to vote on that. This program is yet another computer program this district has purchased that forces kids to just log into the computer with no actual instruction. It is taking away face-to-face time with the teacher to only give us a Lexile level by reading a sentence, not even a full passage. It should be mandatory students read with their teachers, not optional, where the teacher can assess their expression, fluency, prosody, and look for pertinent reading behaviors that a computer could never do. SIPs, you want teachers doing the same thing every day at the same time. This is not developmentally appropriate because no 2 classes are the same. The script you want us to use takes the art away from teaching. We were just sitting here a month ago discussing how schools needed to be open because there was nothing more valuable than teachers in front of students. Yet now we are being told to follow a script for a program that was designed to be for small group instruction, not whole group instruction. Our ESE units are getting cut due to low enrollment, but you have asked them to look at our students and evaluate whether or not they have regressed more than their typical peers, and then revise their IEPs to provide restorative services if they have had a greater regression. How are we supposed to provide these services when you have increased the caseload to 17 to 20 a teacher? We can barely meet the current IEP services, much less an additional layer. We were not able to test students due to COVID to make up for the numbers lost when 5th grade left. You are spending money to redecorate a building that you described as sickly that was just redecorated not more than 4 years ago. Meanwhile, there are students sitting in classrooms with no air conditioning, cracked and broken chairs, leaking roofs, broken windows, and no guided reading tables. Some teachers don't even have the necessary furniture or equipment to create an innovative learning environment, not to mention the ancient technology that won't pair with Zoom. So the very basic essentials of a standard no-frills classroom are made impossible unless teachers purchase their own equipment. I love how the district boasts transparency, but in the same breath tells principals not to discuss their potential cuts with their faculty, which in return leaves everyone in limbo. It is really shameful that teachers in the 7th largest district in the nation encourage others to run in the opposite direction when seeking employment. If you, as a board, want to do what's best for your students, I suggest you start putting your teachers first. Mr. Davis cleared house of people who were established already in the county that had a wealth of knowledge that he disregarded and pushed to the side. Mr. Davis made a statement that he is paying his replacements what they are worth. So I ask you, Mr. Davis, what are your teachers worth?
Thank you so much. Mr. Davis, I think you would like to probably have a one-to-one meeting with that teacher to clear up some of the concerns that she has.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
thank you.
No problem. Would love to.
All right. Next, we'll have Emily Lee, followed by Rob Crete and Heidi Glick. Welcome. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Let's talk about data. Real, tangible, powerful data is generated by listening to student conversations about topics they are learning, by watching and listening to a child decode a word and hearing what word attack, vocabulary, or comprehension skills they employ. It is found by observing how a student approaches and solves a math problem and what strategies they utilize. It is gained by asking good quality questions about quality literature. Right now, our students are not being exposed to those things at the rate they should be due to 3 weeks of testing and more next week. The current district mandated testing that has been taking place is not for the teacher's use. We don't even have access to students' individual information. Only standards whole base class reports. So far, the purpose of baseline testing seems to be an attempt to justify the purchase of the program that you're mandating. Furthermore, the data is thrown out the window because the district-approved frameworks and materials mandate that all learners begin on lesson 1 of these programs, then flip through in order no matter what the student actually needs. This isn't best practice, and teachers cannot differentiate to meet student needs this way. This is not new. What is new? We've been doing small groups. What's new here is the stripping away of our autonomy and the micromanagement from the top, and planning with what, how, and when the students get their needs met by their teachers. On the topic of testing, ESE teachers are getting pulled to proctor, brick and mortar, e-learning testing, makeup testing, or vacant classrooms due to no substitutes. This is not their fault, and it's not our school site admin's fault. This is a legal issue for students to get their services and for teachers to maintain small groups with fidelity. What I find especially disdainful is you keep passing the pressure down to the individual school sites and principals to figure it out, when it was the board and yourselves that got us to this point financially. You continue to lie to the public and news outlets. The classrooms are packed, our schools are short-staffed, and people are doing double and triple duty with simultaneous teaching and huge class sizes. We are still here holding on tight, holding up our end. The cuts you fervently assured people that wouldn't happen will happen next week after this meeting. I don't find it coincidental that you're waiting until then to announce the cuts. Also, it'd be great if you guys would check out our contract. I know it's been a busy year, but a lot's getting overlooked. And like she said, start with cutting real fat. Decorating, new cars, that's what we need. That's what you bought first. This has been going on since 2015, right? That was 5 years ago. How long have you guys been up there?
Thank you. Mr. Superintendent, I'm not sure if you want to speak with her directly or if there are several different concerns that maybe Ms. Whalen or Mr. Connor could also
we can address
clarify
Absolutely.
for her. Okay, thank you. Our next speaker is Rob Crete, followed by Heidi Glick, and then Ryan Hazinski. Welcome, Mr. Crete. You have
Hey, good
3
afternoon,
minutes.
everyone. Hey, as we celebrated World Teachers Day this past week, HCTA wants to thank all the hardworking teachers and support professionals that are persevering and succeeding at a time that is challenging for all, as well as all the administrators in the district and everybody that's doing the job that is being done really throughout some really difficult conditions. Now, speaking of those difficult conditions, e-learning is tough on students, parents, and teachers, but it's necessary to meet their needs. Simultaneous teaching is, though, mostly unnecessary and currently being used in classes from pre-K all the way through senior year of high school. Pre-K, 4-year-olds, in simultaneous teaching. How difficult can that possibly be? Simultaneous teaching is impossibly difficult for everyone and for young learners especially, and it should only be implemented in those few high-level singleton classes. And starting with the next 9 weeks, we're asking that we make sure that our students have the focus of their teacher either through e-learning or the face-to-face learning, and do away with all simultaneous teaching where it's unneeded and counterproductive for our students. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Crete. Mr. Superintendent, I didn't mention anything because I know you're in constant communication with the Hillsborough CTA, but I know that you speak with Mr. Crete regularly. So.
Yes, ma'am, to the chair.
Thank
Always
you.
connected.
All right, next we have Heidi Glick and then Ryan Hazinski.
You own a mask.
Thank you.
I own several.
Welcome.
Okay, well, first of all, I would like to publicly thank Dr. Whalen for subbing for my students when I was out for Yom Kippur, so there was some savings for the district. All the kids decided you were really cool. Okay, but I'm not out again, so. And I also would once again like to say how proud I am to be working at Alonzo. I don't know who up here gave permission for a pep rally to occur at Alonzo, but after long discussions, it was canceled and it will now be virtual, which I think is the right thing to do. Speaking of the budget and the last few questions that have been asked, I sent some questions to Gretchen and I have not gotten my answers yet. So I would like these answered. I would like them in writing and I would like them made public. I would like to know what the former superintendent's salary was and what the current superintendent's salary is. Did we pay for moving expenses for any of the new employees to our district? And if yes, how much money was spent in total on these moves? Were any office renovations done for our new or former current employees? And yes, what was the cost to the district? I would like a list of the names of the positions that were eliminated, how much the total combined salaries were. I would like a list of all of the new positions that were created since our new superintendent has taken over, and what are the combined salaries of these positions. Will there be a deduction in the cost for the district this year as PSAT, as we have fewer students and many e-learners that are not participating? I would like to know how many people were out on Monday the 28th for religious reasons and how many other people from district level went and covered, and what was the cost in subs. I would also like to know what we pay for the SAT and the ACT for all of our students to take them every year in the district, and if there is some type of kickback. I mean, I don't know if it's really called a kickback, but if we're somehow repaid some money from the College Board, I'd like to know what that is. I think all of this money needs to be made public. And I agree with you, Mr. Kona. We are not in a good place. But stop blaming the teachers. I'm not saying you're blaming them, but that's what's coming off almost at every meeting. You're cutting us. It's our fault. You're giving us, Ms. Stewart, you talked about another thing. I feel exactly the same way. I teach a T-Pay. I teach 4 preps, 3 of which I've never taught before, and I do it all simultaneously, online, with the internet going out in the middle of a conversation, with the internet out, and I can't even get my kids in. There are a lot of problems in this district, but it's not the teacher's fault, including the money that we are being paid. There's a lot of money that's being spent, and you're right, some of it has to be spent in certain places, but some of it does not need to be spent at all. And the public, in the honor of transparency, we all need to know, because I'm a teacher, I'm a mom, and I pay taxes, and I vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have that.
Our final speaker is Ryan Hazinski. Welcome. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you and good evening, everyone. I'm an educator, so I'm here to educate. And kind of coincides with what Member Gray was saying, what many of the other people were saying as I walked in here. There's a lot of hand-wringing about our funding, our fund balance, some other issues. And yet, I never hear anybody on this dais, otherwise, hammering home to the public that the Florida legislature is primarily responsible for our funding. We are 43rd in the United States. 43rd in public education investment. That's how little they care about our kids. That's how little they care about educators. We are 47th in average teacher pay, despite all the propaganda from the Florida Department of Education talking about moving from 26th to 5th for the new teachers. We are 48th in per capita tax collection. We depend on tourism. We depend on construction and the boom-bust cycle that this economy produces. When Florida falls, we fall flat on our face and it hurts really bad. It will get worse if you think it's going to get better after the election. Cuts will come, and I'm saying this so everyone is clearly aware that things will get worse. Make no mistake about it. They will not fund us. It's a terrible travesty. Now, this is a time for shared sacrifice. I was forced into taking a leave of absence. Not too happy about it. A lot of time to reflect. A lot of time to get frustrated about the situation, especially knowing how my students, the proposal that I shared with many folks down here, is basically playing out. But there's not even a sub. High-level kids just going to JA. You know how frustrating that is? When I could have been working at home and doing this for the kids, and now they've cut me out of the system. Apparently this is an HR policy. You do not have access to district platforms. That's funny, because I can get into ideas, I can get into Clever, I can get into Zoom, I can get into everything but Canvas and ManageBack. So if you can help me get back into Canvas and ManageBack, that would be wonderful. Actually, all I need is ManageBack, so I can at least annotate my kids' rough drafts and give them feedback. It is maddening that people are making these kinds of deliberate decisions that are about pettiness and not pragmatism. I'm asking you to stand up and say something. Repeat these numbers every time you get a chance you're on the dais. Put this at the feet of the Florida legislature where it belongs. And the last thing I'll say in the last few seconds is President Corral at USF did something very bold this week, and I'm encouraging you, the high-level leaders in this district, to take a 15% pay cut. It's about $4 million for all the people who were brought in. That works out to about $600,000. None of those people are going to go hungry. It can be temporary and be symbolic, and it would be a great way to show leadership and shared sacrifice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hazinski. That concludes our employee input segment of our agenda today. The last item on the regular agenda, board members, is item 1101, to approve the memorandum of understanding with the United Negro College Fund for employee giving campaigns. Mr. Davis is going to highlight this item for us.
Yes, Mr. Chair. This is an MOU that we have partnership with the United Negro College Fund for employee giving. This is a 15-year collaboration that with the Hillsborough County and the UNCF, and this is all about being able to have a campaign to be able to send to our employees in our community from January the 11th through the 22nd. And this will be able to allow our students to be able to apply for merit-based scholarships to Hillsborough Technical College and be able to generate funding to help them seek post-secondary opportunities. And this is all about keeping our money from a local perspective to keep our students into our community. And as you know, the United Negro College Fund is the largest private scholarship provider to minority groups of members. So this is a great partnership. We do a really nice job and be able to signify it by sending it out through this MOU.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Davis. Board members, I need a motion and a second to approve item C 1101. I have a motion by member Schamberger and a second by member Kona. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, please vote when your lights appear.
Candy.
And it is unanimous with member Gray absent from the dais. Thank you, board members. That concludes our regular agenda, so we'll move into board comments at this time. If you have any comments, please go ahead and press your button to chime in. We're going to start with Dr. Hahn.
Oh, thank you. Well, October is National Book Month. So I am celebrating this month by partnering with Follett Books, if Pablo could show the flyer, and our school district to do a virtual book drive. It will run from today until the last month of October. And here's our flyer. You'll be able to find this on the district website, on social media. It has a link as well as a QR code that will bring you directly to a website that has many, many books for folks to choose from. Every book that's donated will be gifted back to children in our community through our early childhood literacy fairs, the first one taking place November 7th, as well as the Storytime online book tour. This is just a great way to engage our community in reading, and I hope that folks in our community will join me in donating a book this month so that we can give the gift of a book to future bookworms in our community. So again, I want to thank Follett for partnering with us around that. They really did a nice job customizing a web page for us, and we're hoping that we get a lot of engagement around this, because we do provide small home libraries to every child who attends our early childhood literacy fairs, and your donation will help ensure that students in our community, all children from pre-K to grade 2 or grade 3, will receive books and home libraries. So that's one thing, so thank you. I also would like to acknowledge the World Teacher Day. Almost everyone has a favorite teacher who's encouraged them, and someone who went above and beyond because they saw your potential. So it's really important to take some time and celebrate our teachers. So thank you to all of our teachers. Special thank you to Mrs. Schroeder, my kindergarten teacher. She set the stage for my love of learning. So happy World Teacher Day to our teachers, and every teacher beyond Hillsborough County also, who tirelessly works to ensure that our students have the very best experience in our schools. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Member Hahn. I guess I will go next. First of all, yes, I want to thank all of our amazing teachers and principals as we always celebrate you, but this month is special when we talk about our principals and the hard work that they do. One of the things, Mr. Superintendent, that on the agenda that's been removed for the last few agenda items was 4.02. I know we've removed it. If I could, I was going to ask for it after your superintendent comments, but I know that we're having an executive session on Thursday, but I'd like to get an update on where we stand on that, because I know as a board, we are very interested in raising the starting salary of our teachers, and we have received a couple of emails from teachers who are asking when is that going to occur. So if we could get an update on that, that would be great.
Yes, sir. Through the chair, this is it's all about the new teacher allocation funds, and regarded to Hillsborough County, we got a pocket of money, and in that pocket of money, 80% goes to individuals who are under the threshold of $47,000, and that's equivalent over 4,300 plus teachers in our organization will benefit from that, going from where they currently are financially up to as high as we can go, which I believe will be around 46.9, and then you have 10,601 teachers that are above that will be able to get 20% of that funding to be able to be issued out to them. This is something where the 80% is identified to those individuals who are under the threshold. The 20% has to be negotiated. We're in the process of just trying to finalize those negotiations, so we're at a peaceful. If there's something I said wrong, Mr. McConnelly, he's over there shaking his head.
Apologize for that noise. The 20% portion of that allocation is set aside for all non-rostered K-12 instructional staff, meaning into our pre-K. I'm looking to Dr. Whalen for verification, into our other instructional units that are on that teacher in that teacher group, but they don't have rosters, and school counselors, et cetera. So the state is saying you can use that 20% to distribute in some form or fashion, and that's the part that we wanted to make sure we involved HCTA on, so that they could offer some ideas and suggestions on how we might do that.
So just a question, and this is, I read the law a little bit. I don't have all the answers, so that's why I'm looking to you. So why can't we just approve the 80%?
So according to the Department of Education, and I'm looking to Ms. Saunders and Dr. Whalen, they do allow us to submit the 80% portion of our plan for approval. At this time, we went into negotiations with the idea that we would want to do all of it together, and knowing that we're going through this process of looking at budgets and at the district level, looking at our current allocations for teachers across the district and other employee groups, et cetera, we agreed that we would be able to come back and talk about what we might be able to contribute above and beyond the new teacher allocation for those groups this year.
Okay, so I just want to caution us about, delaying what the law has asked us to do, which was to get that baseline salary up, which is what we are tasked with, which is what that money is allocated for. I don't know why it's taking so long, but I guess we'll hear more in executive session. So I appreciate you giving us an update. So it's not us that's holding it back, right? It's not these 7 members on the school board. Okay.
Through the chair, no, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Member Kona. Member Perez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to speak to the district and the teachers and parents regarding Family Health Care Foundation. I had the opportunity to sit down. I sit on this board and had the opportunity to introduce Melanie Hall to our new superintendent. And I'm going to speak to our Family Health Care Foundation and the families, improving the families' access to health care, especially now during the mental health awareness that we're having now. There are approximately 11,000 uninsured children in Hillsborough County. Most are eligible for free or low-cost coverage through Florida Kid Care. Pablo, can you, were you able to get can you put it up? Perfect. So the counties that are covered are Hillsborough, Pinellas, Polk, or Pasco counties here in Florida. Florida Kid Care provides medical, dental, vision, and hearing and behavioral health services for children up to age 19. And kids are with regular access to medical care are less distracted by unmet health needs and have better school attendance and are better able to concentrate in school. Hillsborough County Public School partners with the Family Health Care Foundation and a local nonprofit to provide outreach, application assistance, and education about Florida Kid Care are completely free of charge. They are available by phone or virtual for appointments for families and can provide presentations at virtual PTA meetings or other family forums. The Family Health Care Foundation can also assist parents and other family members with coverage programs for adults as well. So if you're a family with children and the adults in the family do not have health insurance, you can also apply for for health care. So the Family Health Care Foundation can be reached at 813-995-7005 or through their website at familyhealthcarefdn.org. So, especially now with a lot of families seeking the mental health services, this would be a wonderful way of getting your health care along with access to mental health services. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Perez. Member Schamberger?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. First, I'd like to say that, and I hope I'm not stealing your thunder, Madam Chair, but, if you've noticed that most of us are wearing pink tonight for breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I just want to offer certainly our prayers and thoughts and our condolences for those who may be battling this dreadful disease and those certainly who may have lost their life to this disease, especially a lot of our staff members, Mr. Superintendent, I know who've lost their lives because of breast cancer. So we support everyone and hope that one day it becomes a non-issue. Tonight, I just really wanted to quickly just talk about a really exciting program. Oftentimes we get questions, especially on the campaign trail, about what are we doing to help get our students who've been out of school and out of the loop for so long, what are we doing to get them caught up? Well, we're doing a lot, but there's one program in particular that I'm really excited about, and that's our Saturday Academy under the leadership of Superintendent Davis and our Chief of Transformation Network, Ms. Shay McCray. It's a really exciting program. It's a 12 Saturday program that runs through November the 21st for K-5 students with significant academic needs, including those that were disconnected or hard to reach during distance learning. And so before I go any further, I think we have a short video that we can show that will show us a little bit more about the program.
Today, Hillsborough County Elementary School students were inside the classroom for a little bit of extra work. Now, this is all a part of the district's program aimed at helping students with academic needs, especially those who lost learning time during the pandemic. As 8 on your side's Megan Gannon tells us tonight, nearly 1,500 students actually participated today.
I spoke with the principal at one of the schools participating in the Saturday Academy. She tells me her students are excited about this program and they look forward to it all week.
We've had kids literally in the car line on Friday afternoon begging their parents to let them come on Saturday.
Emily Torelli is the principal at DeSoto Elementary School, one of the 25 schools participating in Saturday Academy, a program offered for kindergarten through 5th graders.
The teachers are focusing on those standards that, we know our kids are going to need that development in to make sure that they have mastery by the end of the school year.
Now, originally, the district planned this type of program for the summer, but due to COVID-19, it was pushed back until the fall once the school was back in session.
So this is a chance to really catch some of our kids up, get some of that learning time back to them.
Torelli says that through this program, she hopes her students come away with more confidence as learners.
It gives them some time to really consolidate their learning from the week and also get ready for the week ahead. And so that confidence is built because they have more mastery of the skills that they're working on.
Now, this program will be held every Saturday from now until November, and the district is going to be providing transportation, breakfast, and lunch for all the students who are in attendance. Now, parents, if you're wanting to register your child, we have a list of all the schools that are participating on our WFLA website. Reporting in the Tampa newsroom, Megan Gannon, 8 on your side.
Thank you. Well, Megan Gannon said it all for me. So currently, as of last week, we have our enrollment is at 1,305 students split between our 25 participating sites. Now, each site can host up to 100 students. So if you do that math, that's 2,500 students, which means that we still have space available. We should be busting out of this scene with the wait list. I mean, how cool is it to go to school on a Saturday? And so, parents get a little break too. And as Megan Gannon mentioned, certainly transportation is provided to the 25 sites. And we also feed the kids really good with breakfast and lunch. So that's a benefit, a fun day of learning on a Saturday for our families. So speaking of the budget, if you want to know how the Saturday program or Saturday Academy is paid, funding for the Saturday Academy was made available through the Federal CARES Act, as Member Stewart talked about earlier, and the Governor's Emergency Education Relief, or the GEAR Fund. So it is all covered completely, not coming out of the fund balance, not affecting teacher salaries and things like that. But we're doing a lot of work to get our kids caught back up and where they need to be. And so I'm really excited about this Saturday Academy. Mr. Superintendent, do you have any other comments on the Saturday Academy?
Through the chair, I think you did an awesome job, and you did a good job plugging and recruiting for kids. So we need some more kids to come.
Yes, we need to get them plugged in. And lastly, Madam Chair, if I may, I'll just give one quick update. Board members, you may be aware that during our last Thursday agenda review, I did ask Mr. Superintendent about Wells Fargo. Just a quick update, just to kind of catch the public up. You may know that there was a faux pas made by the president of Wells Fargo at the national level regarding a lack of ability to find talented Black people to work for his organization. And so that certainly created a wave across the district. And certainly as a Black woman, I certainly found issue with that, particularly as the board member here for Hillsborough County School District, because we do a lot of business with Wells Fargo. We're the largest thing going here in Hillsborough County, and we give them a lot of business. So I asked Mr. Superintendent to please reach out to our local folks and address that issue. Let's even consider the possibility of moving our business, because a lack of racial diversity and equity and inclusion and all of that stuff is what we believe in here in Hillsborough County Public School System, and we should not partner with or use use $1 of taxpayer dollars for any organization who doesn't align with those beliefs. Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. You reached out to them immediately. They did respond. They did provide some information about what they're doing on the national level and the local level regarding more racial equity and inclusion in their programs. I will just say, I think that information will be shared with board members. I really won't dignify it here. While it was good information, just my opinion, a little bit of lip service. I like to see a little bit more of what they can do to strengthen their racial equity policies and inclusion and diversity in their organization if we're going to remain with them. And so I've asked the superintendent to revisit a conversation with the president, and let's have a more in-depth conversation about what they're going to do to really align themselves with us. I'm sure there's a lot of organizations that's willing to do so. We certainly like to keep our business there, but it's important that we work with folks who have those same core beliefs as we do here in Hillsborough County Public School System. So thank you, Mr. Superintendent, for promptly and very quickly getting on that. I really appreciate your support around that. So with that, Madam Chair, those are my comments.
Thank you, Member Schamberger. Member Stewart?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for highlighting the Saturday Academies, because I know while we have 25 schools that are doing this year, we have schools that have done Saturday Academies, and those schools are so grateful right now that teachers are actually getting paid to be there. But there are schools that have done Saturday Academies in the past to help their students along, especially as we get close to testing time. So it's nice to see them have the resources that they need and pay for that day to be able to be there and help our students. Thank you, Mr. Kona, for bringing up 402. I know we've been getting a lot of questions that's come off and on the agenda twice now, and there's been questions raised about that. Hopefully we can come to some conclusion on that quickly. I want to personally congratulate, we don't do this as often anymore, but when we have principal appointments, Sabrina Ruiz was named principal of Mango Elementary tonight, and she is a former, she's at Sulphur Springs right now, but she's a former Mort Elementary Community School AP, and so I just wanted to reach out and say congratulations to her. Mr. Superintendent, you were provided tonight with some questions around COVID from a parent, and I would ask that those questions and answers be added to our Q&A piece around COVID, so that there's some really good questions here that I think they may be answered there, but I think there's some really good information that could be shared district-wide. The student who came from Freedom High School, I completely understand as a student who took Latin in high school, my concern around the cuts that we're making around languages. I understand the need to have full classes, and I understand the need to make those adjustments. I am concerned when principals are making cuts, and Dr. Kemp, you're just going to have to monitor this, in my opinion. We have students who are going into their second year of a language. It isn't fair for them to now have to start another language or be denied that second year. And I'm concerned about how we are navigating that. So I would just ask for us to be mindful. I believe that the students at Freedom have been offered a virtual option, as well as that teacher was offered the virtual option. And I appreciate that, but I want to caution us. Those are classes that students need. A lot of them need 2 years of a language to get into college. That's a requirement of the state. And I don't think it's appropriate or fair that a student has to take or start another language because only 2 languages are offered on their campus. There are some schools where students have actually choiced into a school because of a language that was offered there. So to me, that's more of a core class than an elective class, and I think that we just need to be mindful as we start to make those adjustments. I think those are my comments. I want to make a point of the Global Diversity Awareness Proclamation that was brought forward tonight. While I agree with that proclamation, I look forward to a proclamation at the end of the month that highlights LGBTQ History Month. I know that that is something that is very important to our students and our staff, that we highlight that opportunity and that set of individuals. So I look forward to us having we're a district of great diversity, and we should be inclusive of all students. And so I appreciate Ms. Monica Veratrato bringing forward that at the end of the month. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Stewart. I just had a couple of comments. One, We obviously recognize and appreciate all of the faculty and the employees in our school district and the contributions that they make. This month is especially about principals. It's National Principals Month, and I just want to thank all of our principals. I know there are meetings that are going on this week and next week, and our principals are troopers. They are the leaders of our school sites. They set the tone, they set the pace, they are the role models for teachers. So it's really, especially in difficult times, it's easy to be a leader when things are going great, right? But true leadership we start to see when things get very difficult. And I am seeing some amazing leadership from our principals across our school district. They are making a huge impact, a positive impact on teachers and employees at their schools. And I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you to the principals who are making that difference, who even though these might be challenging times, yes, there are changes happening within the school district. There is a pandemic that is happening. There are a lot of changes that are going, across not just our school district, but across the state and across the country. There's so many things that are impacting our school district, and it would be really easy to take a negative stance and just call it a day, but our principals have remained positive, and we just appreciate those who are being very good role models for their employees. So thank you, and I would even ask that just as we recognize May as National Teacher Appreciation Month, that we, at our next school board meeting in October, we proclaim October National Principals Month to appreciate our principals even more for what they do. So perhaps we can have that proclamation prepared for the next meeting in October, so we can get that in before the month is over. So I think that really, thank you for everything that you're doing. Again, these are very challenging times, and I know that we can't make every person happy across the school district, and I understand the gravity of what you're trying to accomplish, and I know that it's challenging. Ms. Stewart made some very relevant comments earlier about how you're discovering things on a regular basis, and it is very challenging to manage that information and to manage how it gets messaged to all of our stakeholders in the school district. I asked pose the same challenge for you to continue to find ways to positively message what we're trying to do. That should be the overarching emphasis, is what the vision and the mission and the destination where you're trying to take this school district. It's hard sometimes for people to see that far ahead. It looks like an oncoming train, not the light at the end of the tunnel sometimes. But I encourage you to keep asking people to take them along with you, arm in arm, not pushing or pulling, but together we can all move into that direction where this district needs to go to be financially healthy again. And everyone's happy. When we're financially healthy, everyone's happy, because we all get what we want generally. Teachers can have a better salary. Our schools look nicer because we have the money to improve them. So generally speaking, if we can get to that financial destination that you're trying to take the district in, I think people will be much happier when we get there. But it is a journey, and it is a big uphill climb to get there, and it's challenging, and we understand that. So I'm hoping that we can all hang in there together and get to that destination. Thank you for being a strong voice. It is a very big, those are big seat to sit in over there, and I certainly don't envy the decisions that you have to make sometimes for this school district to get to that destination. So that with that, if there are any other board comments, Mr. Superintendent.
I'm sorry, I just got informed that just want to update the public. There will be Roszak building will be out of power on Saturday, 10/10 from 12 p.m. to midnight for TECOs. They are interacting with this community in this building. So just want to let you know the system will be down for those times at Roszak. Just want to give that information out to our community.
Very well. All right, seeing no other comments, we will go ahead and adjourn this board meeting. Thank you.